how about your union jackass, Dawn?
Oh, my union jackass is so obvious. It's President Joe Biden, who flies in on a gas-guzzling jet, then drives to COP26 after landing at the wrong airport in a motorcade of 20 gas-guzzling cars, promptly falls asleep during the opening ceremony, which was fairly dull, so don't blame him. Meanwhile, in the US, new data shows that coal-fired power generation has leapt 22%.
Yeah.
The first increase since 2014. So, yeah, a big jackass.
Can't
A hypocritical
disagree.
one.
I've got to say, how about you? Your union jackass.
Oh, do you know, everyone's going to kick off at this because I've complained so many times about Harry and Meghan, but aren't they just symptomatic of exactly what Dawn was talking about? The billionaire flying to gob off a little bit. They had trouble getting into stuff at COP26. I don't know exactly what they've done, but they even wrote a letter because they wanted to be noticed in the media. I think there's a huge amount of this. You know, there's a brilliant interview with Andy Burnham where he says a lot of people are going to think that they don't want to be lectured by billionaires in the time of an economic downturn. Not many things I agree with Andy Burnham on, but I have to say I agree with that. Harry and Meghan, just go and work for Netflix or whatever it is. Get on with it. Make all your money. Leave me alone.
There you go. Cri de coeur there from Andre Walker. Becca, your union jackass.
Terry Gilliam, the Python star, who has been cancelled by the Old Vic for his heinous views on trans rights and the Me Too movement, and who famously said that he's tired of old white men being blamed for everything that's wrong in the world. And I have a bit of a spoiler for him, that they kind of are. So I'm very relieved that he's been relieved of his post at the Old Vic.
Can you categorise this enormous group within our society as responsible for everything?
I think maybe, because he then went on to make some very distasteful comments about black lesbians.
Is it wrong to identify the colour of someone's skin as being a group responsible for anything? I mean, that's racism, isn't it?
No, absolutely. It's whiteness as a power structure, is the patriarchy.
I mean, if you said black people are responsible for all of the bad things, that would be racist. It would be horrific.
But whiteness we're talking about whiteness as a power structure, aren't we? And we're also talking about his
including poverty-stricken white people in this country.
We're not disregarding.
What about poor middle-aged white men who are just scratching a living on the minimum wage,
who exist as part of a power structure?
Oh, lucky them!
And
they don't know how they're going to pay their bills, but apparently they're privileged.
I mean, actually, this is part of the reason why people wanted to tear down society over Brexit. This idea that Tony Blair wanders around going, think about how the European Union has benefited you economically. Guys in Wigan and Salford and Bradford are wandering around saying, you may have created jobs, but I've got 3 of them and I still can't pay the mortgage.
Interesting stuff. Well, look, it's a big old debate, isn't it? But Terry Gilliam, I mean, he had been commissioned to actually be involved in this project, Stephen Sondheim, Into the Woods. A great production. What did he say? He said he thought Me Too was a witch hunt.
Yeah.
I mean, he's entitled to his opinion, even if he's wrong, isn't he?
He said that actresses who went for meetings with Harvey Weinstein in a hotel room knew what they were doing, and that Hollywood is full of ambitious people who have a price.
Now, I don't necessarily share that view, but he's entitled to have that view. Why should he be cancelled for that?
He made the employees of the Old Vic incredibly uncomfortable, and I can't imagine...
Tough luck. Life's uncomfortable. Life's unfair. The world is a difficult place.
You think that that's OK to make them work?
I think he's entitled to have his view. I don't agree with it, but I wouldn't sack him. I wouldn't decommission him from a project.
But if the whole organisation...
for sharing that view.
If the organisation find that so offensive that they don't feel safe in that workplace...
Well, they are safe. What's going to happen to them?
Well, they've got no idea. I mean, what kind of reckless view? You have no idea what's going to happen to them. And
well, he's taken a view, but just because they disagree, that makes them feel unsafe. That's not his problem.
The Old Vic has a pastoral responsibility to the people...
So what, he shouldn't offer a different view about Me Too?
You can offer a different view, but I think that you don't need to disregard what is a really significant movement in the way that he did. And there are really clever ways to talk about Me Too, and there probably are people who... And we can talk about the victimisation of men, but that is big, doesn't what he did.
Well...